Hey everybody, it's me Edward Jones back with a new video. You can tell from the hat. It's a new SHTF story entitled Accident Response. A couple months ago, about 2 months ago, I was in my room, watching YouTube videos like I do practically, during every late night, and I heard an accident on my street. Now, when this accident happened, around the same night it happened, I actually thought about doing a video that night, but I decided against it because it was a bit too much for me at that point in time. To have to go through what I just dealt with and make a video about it. So I decided to push it off until a later date. Essentially, what happened was there was an accident on my street, and where a car in the right lane struck a parked car, and the car that was traveling, after it struck the parked car, swung around and landed on the right side. I mean, I guess on the left lane. I guess from where I live. See, my place is on the left side, and his car originally start on the right side of the street. Well, after it hit the parked car, swung around and landed on the left side of the street. So I heard the crash. I had headphones on too, but I knew the crash was pretty loud. I grabbed a small first aid kit that I keep inside my book bag that I normally have with me just about everywhere I go, and I head out the door. I took a flash. I think I took a flashlight. Yeah. I head out the door, and I smelled smoke. And when I saw the car, I've seen it's like seeing car accidents on the screen and seeing one in person. There is a big difference. When I saw this car, the windshield was blown out. The front was destroyed. I saw a parked car that was hit, and I smelled burnt rubber. I guess it's from when the car spun around and the tires were still in contact with the pavement. And I looked in the driver's seat, and all I saw was blood. All I saw was blood in the seat, blood in the steering wheel, blood in the airbag. And I looked, and I actually saw one of my neighbors who lives adjacent from me. He was helping, the young man who was in the accident. He was helping him up. He was, he'd been drinking, which was obvious. And I don't know, maybe it was for his benefit, because when I saw his face, well, first I could tell that looking at his body, his shirt was pretty much clean, but around his lap and his thighs were just red. He had blue pants on, and he had tan pants on, like khakis, and they were just red. And I looked into his face. His face was covered with blood. I opened the first aid kit and got a small gauze out. I tried to wipe some of the blood away from his eyes. He was saying he just wanted. He said he's fine. He wanted to go home. I said, "You're not, dude. You're not fine." My neighbor was telling me, "You're not fine." He said, he's gonna call an ambulance. My neighbor asked me, he said, "Ed, can you hold him up?" I said, "Yeah, I can hold him up." And so while I was holding him up, I looked into his face, and it was his right cheek was crushed right around here. It was like if I poked right at it, it was like I could put my finger through his face. That's how badly messed up his cheek was. And his face was still coming black. I looked at the little gauze I had, said this is not going to do it. So what I did was I actually took this flannel shirt that you always see me wear. I took that off, and I wiped it. I told him to hold this on your face. I try to wipe this face. Just hold this on your face. Try to put some pressure on it. The more people started to come outside to see what was going on. The house right in front of the car where it had landed, the guy who lived there came out of the house. He asked if there was anything that he wanted me to get. I said, yeah, grab a towel, grab a towel with some cold water, quickly, and he brought that out, and he said, also got some ice. So put the ice over the kid's face. Also the wet, had the ice wrapped up in the wet towel. Held on his face. I took my jacket and this is a shirt. It's pretty heavy. I threw it on the ground. You know, yeah, his face was bad. I think the ambulance came around 10 or 15 minutes later. He still kept saying, I just want to go home. I'm fine. I'm all right. I said, dude, you're not all right. Your cheek is crushed. Your car's total. You hit another car. And one thing that stayed in my mind when I first got there was I saw a shoe. I saw a high heel shoe, in the middle of the road, and I was saying, "Holy shit! Did someone get hit?" I kept looking. I looked underneath. The guy's car, and I looked underneath the car that was struck. And it turns out that he hit the car so hard that items that were in the back of this, it was like a hatchback. Items that were in the back of this hatchback flew out. And even that hatchback hit another car that was in front of it. So I was still holding this, but after I figured out there was no one else involved in the accident, it was just this one guy. I told him to say, "Here, hold this on your face. Can you hold it on your face?" He did, but he wasn't applying enough pressure to his face, so I held it up for him. Firemen and paramedics came. They put him on the stretcher. I believe his ID was in his pocket. I guess they just asked some general information. I forgot what it was, but what I was even asked. I just remember, the one thing I remember distinctly was all the blood didn't. It doesn't sound like a badass, but the blood didn't bother me. What it got me was I was actually shaking because it was still cold, it was still really cold outside. I'm not a big guy, so I took my flannel shirt off and gave it to him to put on his face. I just had a t-shirt on top, and so I was shaking a bit. I was saying to myself, am I shaking because of the blood? And I said, no, I'm shaking because it's freaking cold outside. It was like maybe 30 something degrees outside. I think this is after we had all that snow and ice. I believe it was after that. But after he was taken to the hospital, I walked back down the block, spoke with my neighbors for a bit, spoke with him and his girlfriend, about all that happened. I came back to the house, told one of my friends, what I just witnessed. It was a bit shocking to me. I thought for a second, looking at the car, I said, wow, he survived that. I could have been looking at a dead guy. But fortunately that wasn't the case. I remember my shirt, had all this blood on it. So what I did was I got a 5-gallon bucket like I always use for washing my clothing, and I took the shirt, I threw it in there. I think I added some borax and just filled it up with cold water, and just let it sit for about I think it was like maybe a day. I think it was for a day. And I checked on it. The cold water, I learned that having a lot of nosebleeds, cold water is good for getting blood out of fabrics if you act right away. But the water was brown. That's how much blood. And in a 5-gallon bucket, with this shirt in there, the water was brown. Even after I poured all the water out and rinsed, decided to do a second rinse, it was still more blood coming out of the shirt. But the shirt eventually got clean. I haven't heard anything in the news about the accident. Like I said, it was a pretty crazy experience. I pretty much figured I'm not squeamish when concerning blood, which I figured I guess is a good thing. I've seen a lot of accidents, personal accidents, and I guess I just gotten used to the idea of seeing blood in front of me. And one thing that I noticed that kicked in was once I smelled the rubber, I immediately ran over because I said, this accident could have been really serious. I'd use whatever knowledge I had about first aid in that situation. I I guess I kept myself calm. Look, I was happy that my neighbor was there. You know, help. You know, we were helping each other. You know, I was watching. I was holding him up against. I was holding the kid up against the car. He must have been about maybe 21, maybe a little younger than that. I was holding him up against the car. Didn't freak out or anything like that. I was happy about that. More so, I was just happy I was able to render aid to someone who was injured. But yep, that's something that happened a while back. Like I said, I thought about doing a video that night, but I just wasn't in the mood after it happened. But please share your thoughts. Have you ever witnessed a car accident or witnessed a serious accident where you had to help the person who was involved? Please share any tips that you want to throw out there, not just for me, but for the other people who are viewing this, who may view this video. Please leave comments in the comment section. Also, to new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. I hope to keep producing good content and things that posting questions and topics that are thought-provoking. Any gripes or complaints, you know the deal. Send them to me. Please be respectful to everyone else who watched this video and who leaves comments. But that's my SHTF story, accident response. I'm Edward Jones, and thanks for watching.